were truly very special, and it's a great honor to be invited here today to speak something on the topic of Sri Padyāvalī of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. Before I begin speaking something, it is Shishta Parampara, the tradition established by the previous great authorities to perform Mangalacharan. So I'll quickly sing Jai Radha Madhav, then we'll perform Mangalacharan, and then I'll begin. Do we have Kartal? Hare Krishna Maharaj. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhare Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhare Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachare Yamuna Tira Vanachare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhav Radha Madhav Radhe Jai Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar Radhe Jai Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Gurudev Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. So thank you once again so much, dear devotees, for kindly being present here today. I am so grateful to each and every one of you for kindly giving the most important resource of your life, which is not money. What is the most important resource? Time. Because most of us today are not facing acute poverty of money, but most of us are facing acute poverty of time. So we may not be beggars of money, but we are beggars of time. And time is such a resource that once you give it to somebody, you won't get it back ever. And knowing all this, still you have kindly decided to give me your time, for which I am very, very grateful. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for kindly being present here. I am very thankful also once again to Brajanath Prabhu, Vrinda Mataji, Anuragini Mataji, for kindly organizing, hosting these wonderful talks. And I am thankful to all the senior devotees who are present here, disciples of Srila Prabhupada, all the other Vaishnavas who are present here. We will begin with Mangala Charan, auspicious invocations. Most of us know these verses. You can kindly sing with me. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupah Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namah. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Ramani Mohan Baba. He has received initiation from Prabhupada when he was 16 years old.
Oh, wonderful.
And he has served Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakshita Maharaj, and especially our Gurudev.
Oh, wonderful.
Now he lives in Vrindavan, near Radharaman.
Oh, wonderful.
He's one of my very good friends.
Thank you so much. Oh, acha.
I think sometimes he gives class in Krishna Balaram Mandir.
Oh, nice.
He's serving all the Vaishnavas. Now he is always with Brenda Shastri.
Oh, nice.
He is my Babaji Vaisakya.
Oh, you got wish from him. Oh, very nice, very nice.
Hari
Hari. So I'm very happy to be here sometimes people ask me, what do you prefer more, giving programs in a formal environment inside a temple or giving an informal home program? So all of you can guess what my answer is. And I really love these informal programs. Today's program is so informal. Brajnath Prabhu literally spoke out almost everybody's name, so which is not possible easily when we are in a place where hundreds and hundreds of individuals are present. So today we have a very informal gathering, and I am very happy to be here so that I can speak my heart, and I can speak my heart freely. Thank you so much once again for kindly being present here. We are going to discuss a subject matter which is Sri Padyāvalī of Srila Rupa Goswami. The original text of Padyāvalī was compiled by Srila Rupa Goswami. He did not compose this literature, he compiled this literature. Of course, there are a few verses by him in this Padyāvalī. The meaning of Padyāvalī is Padya and Avali. Padya means poetry and Avali means series. So Padya Avali means series of poetry, but this is not composed by him. Whenever Srila Rupa Goswami would hear a very nice verse related to any aspect of Krishna Bhakti, he would have only one chance to note it down, and he made sure that he noted it down, because in those days there were no recording devices and you had to have a memory which is the memory of a Shrutidhar. Shrutidhar means hear it once and remember. And gifted with that sort of a memory, Srila Rupa Goswami, whenever he would hear any particular verse, he would either immediately write it down or commit the verse to memory. And then he maintained his own collection of verses, and today this collection is known as Padyāvalī. So it is his assorted collection of verses. So every human being who has a taste for rasa, now rasa has two meanings. The term rasa has two meanings. One is bhojan rasa, rasa related to food, and one is bhakti rasa, rasa related to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So a person who relishes rasa is known as rasik. So similarly, you can either be a rasik of food, which I am sure many of you are. Yeah. And there are 6 rasas in food: sweet, sour, tangy, pungent, astringent, bitter. These are the 6 rasas in food. And then there are 12 rasas in bhakti, which is Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, and then the 7 secondary rasas. So anybody who is a rasik should maintain an assorted collection of sweets. I hope you are able to understand. A rasik of food should have an assorted collection of food items at their home, because whenever they feel the desire to relish a particular food item, it should be present. So similarly, a rasik of bhakti rasa should also have a collection of verses which they can remember and relish whenever they want to. And we are so fortunate, we have Srila Rupa Goswami's personal collection. This is Sri Padyāvalī. And the best thing about it is that he has also given credit to the original authors wherever he knew the sources. So credit has been given, due credit has been given. But in order to relish rasa, we also should be a connoisseur of rasa. That is a primary requirement. In literatures of rasa, such as Sahitya Darpan and Kavya Prakash, these literatures specify that there should be a difference between a painting on the wall and a member sitting in the audience, because the entire program gets over, the painting on the wall doesn't move. It doesn't get affected by the emotions in the program. But a person sitting within the audience should not ideally be like that. A person sitting within the audience should be sahriday. Sahriday means should be like-minded, is also known as samajik. Samajik means they are a connoisseur of rasa, they understand. And Srila Rupa Goswami will specify this in his introductory verse to Sri Padyāvalī. But before I begin speaking about Padyāvalī, I like to specify one thing, that people in the world come from different spectrums of life, different experiences, and we can't expect everybody to be on the same page. Of course, all of us have had different experiences in life, and we are here today because of the experiences that have shaped us in life. So to expect everybody to fit within the same mold is thoroughly incorrect. And the Vaishnava poet, devotee poet who wrote a commentary on the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, his name is Sri Harish Suri. He said that there are two extremes in society. One extreme is known as yogi. Yogi is the complete ascetic. And the other extreme is kami. Kami is the complete sense enjoyer, or you can say the completely lusty person. These two people represent the extreme opposites of human society. And most of us, all of us, fall between these two extremes. Now, if you can have something which can give benefit to the yogi as well as to the kami, then you can easily cover everybody else in between. So in the beginning of his commentary on the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, he composes a wonderful verse in Sanskrit. This verse is in the meter Shardul Vikriditam. And I'll try to sing this verse. It is the same as Shad Goswami Ashtakam. So I'll sing, please repeat after me. Yatashasya nayat priyam bhavati tat syat kami loka priyam yadvastvasya na saukhya shali bhavati preshtham cha tad yogina satyevam yadi havatar charite pritir dvayorutkata हेतुस्तत्र तथा चरित्र सरणिर नारायणीति स्फुटम. He says yatashasya. Yat ashasya, a yogi whose desires have completely gone away, whose material desires have been completely wiped out, is called yat ash. Na yat priyam bhavati, that yogi doesn't like something. What does the yogi not like? The yogi doesn't like to hear talks about men and women and romantic affairs of men and women. Because for the yogi, it is a big disturbance to hear such talks. Tat syat kami loka priya. But the lusty person, oh, he is waiting for that. And yad vastvasya na saukhya shali bhavati. And the lusty person doesn't like something. What does he not like? He doesn't like to hear talks about the absolute truth. That's what puts him to sleep. Preshtham chatad yogina. But the yogi delights in that. Now Sri Harisuri says, Satyevam yadi havatara charite. Now let's take the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And it has such a nature that both of these opposites of the human society will sit in the same audience and derive great pleasure. Think about it. The 10th canto has something which will attract the yogi and which will also simultaneously attract the most lusty person. on this planet. And hetus tatra tatha charitra saranir narayaniti, the only path which can give benefit to these two opposites of the society is Shri Krishna Katha, nothing else. So it's a wonderful path of Shri Krishna Katha, Shri Krishna Leela, and if it can give benefit to the extremes of the society, certainly all of us who fall somewhere in between can also be benefited. See, we come from different backgrounds, and our samskars from previous lives, our impressions from previous lives have given us a variety of natures. And whatever nature we have been gifted with, there should be a way by which we should be able to find some taste in bhakti. And the easiest way is to directly relish Shri Krishna Katha. Once Shri Krishna Katha is relished in a manner that instills faith within us, in a manner which is suitable for us, then it becomes extremely easy for us to overcome our previous conditioning and then also become a rasik or a connoisseur of rasa ourselves. So here is the translation. It says, talks of men, women and lust are not dear to the yogi, but they are very dear to the kami. On the other hand, talks of the absolute truth are not dear to the kami, but they are very dear to the yogi. How wonderful! In the narrations of Sri Krishna, both of these individuals show extreme delight, and the cause of such delight is none other than the brilliant pathway of Sri Krishna Leela. So this is the only way by which these two extremes in the society will be benefited. And if you tell a lusty person that you first become a yogi, and they may try to do that, but most of them will fail. I can guarantee you 100%, most of them will fail because they are not inclined at all. And even if they try, maybe 1 in 1,000, they'll end up becoming a yogi. And the yogi has another problem. He doesn't like to hear about talks of men and women. And as soon as the yogi hears about talks of Bhagavan along with his Shaktis, Sri Radha, the yogi immediately becomes a little alarmed. And he doesn't want to hear these talks. Sri Jiva Goswami says in his commentary to Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu that such a yogi finds even the katha of Radha and Krishna to contain material rasas. Such a yogi incorrectly thinks that the rasa flowing within the katha of Sri Sri Radha Krishna is also material, and therefore such a person wants to run away from such katha, because according to such a person, to hear talks of men and women, even if it comes from the Srimad Bhagavatam, it means that he is getting trapped in the material world, which he doesn't want to, because he has had experience that the material world is terribly painful, and any further investment into the material world is not desired by such a person. Anyway, Srila Rupa Goswami, he says that the Padyāvalī is meant for a certain type of audience. So in the very first verse of Sri Padyāvalī, which is composed by himself, Sri Rupa Goswami introduces it. The verse is in the meter Vasanta Tilakam, same as Brahma Samhita. I'll try to sing, please repeat after me. Padyāvalī virachita rasikar mukunda, Padyāvalī virachita rasikar mukunda, Padyāvalī virachita rasikar mukunda, Padyāvalī virachita rasikar mukunda, Sambandha bandhur pada brahmadormi sindhu, Sambandha bandhur pada brahmadormi sindhu, Ramya samasta damasam damani gramena, Samdeyate griti kadambaka kautukaya. So Sri Rupa Goswami introduces the Padyāvalī with the name of the literature. What is the first term, dear devotees? Padyāvalī. So the name of the literature is Padyāvalī. Virachita, it has been composed. Composed by whom? By you, Sri Rupa Goswami? No, Rasikai. By connoisseurs of rasa, who have come previous to myself, he is saying. So there are many connoisseurs of rasa who have come previous to me, and they have composed it. So I am not going to take any poetry from a dry-hearted person. Well, dry-hearted people cannot write poetry, isn't it? Poetry is not for the dry-hearted person. Poetry is only for somebody whose heart is overflowing with emotion. And when such emotion is directed towards the material world, it comes out in the form of poetry of the material world. And when such emotion is directed towards Bhagavan, such poetry comes out in the form of the verses of Sri Padyāvalī. So these are Rasikas whose hearts have overflowed for Sri Radha and Krishna. And therefore they have written various verses, and they are Rasikas. They are not stone-hearted. And within their hearts there are no doubts about the wonders of Bhakti Rasa. Because in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says there are three types of people who fall from spiritual life. In the 4th chapter, verse number 40, Bhagavan says, Agyascha ashraddhadhanascha samshayatma vinashyati. There are three types of people who are not able to attain success. Agya, the first is the person who is ignorant of Shastra, who doesn't understand what is Rasa Tattva. That person is Agya, Agyani. They will not be able to relish it because they do not know what is Bhakti Rasa. So one should at least have a basic conception of what Bhakti Rasa is. And the second category is Cha ashraddhadhanascha. Another person has heard about Bhakti Rasa, but they don't have faith. And third is Samshayatma. They have heard, but they have many doubts whether I'll be able to attain success through this path or not. And Bhagavan says Vinashyati. Can anybody tell me what is Vinashyati? Yeah, they're lost on the path. And then Bhagavan pulls out the third category because Bhagavan wants to highlight. Nayam lokosti na paro na sukham samshayatmana. The person who is doubtful, for such a person there is no happiness in this world, no happiness in the next world, and there is no attainment at all. Why? And the commentators explain, when such a person tries to enjoy materially, his devotional inclinations pull him behind. And when such a person tries to enjoy Bhakti Rasa, his material doubts pull him behind. So such a person cannot attain anything. And therefore Bhagavan specifically highlights the person who has doubts about Bhakti Rasa. And Sri Rupa Goswami says the verses composed in this Padyāvalī are by individuals who have had no doubt about Bhakti Rasa, who knew that coming in contact with Bhakti Rasa is direct contact with Sri Krishna. How do we know in a katha whether we were directly touched by Bhagavan, whether we were touched by God? We know we were touched by Bhagavan if we were touched by Rasa. Why? Because the Upanishads say, and please repeat after me, Raso Vaisaha. He indeed is Rasa. Yeah, this you. Yeah. He indeed is Rasa. And who is he? Sri Krishna. So if in a particular katha you experienced even a tiny semblance of Rasa, you should know that the Upanishads declare that you were touched by Bhagavan himself. How do you know? There are many verses spoken where it is said wherever katha is spoken, Krishna is himself present. And then we have to ask in which row is Krishna sitting. And the answer to that question is, so Bhagavan was present in a katha because something flowed in a particular katha. And what is the name of that substance which flowed in the katha? Ras. And if we were touched by it, then we were touched by Bhagavan himself. It's as if Bhagavan came, sat near us and put his hand on our shoulder and said, yes, I'm here, because you're experiencing some emotions that you have not experienced before. And that is how Bhagavan makes his presence felt in the katha. So Padyāvalī Virachita Rasikair, it has been composed by those individuals whose hearts are completely drenched in bhakti rasa. And therefore, as a result, in the Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, Bhavo hi bhavakaranam. The innate mood of a person is what comes out in the form of poetry or katha. Today, if a speaker speaks something, the audience is only able to absorb what the speaker has within their heart. If a particular person writes something, what comes out on the pages of the book is what the person has within their heart, nothing else. So what will come out in the Padyāvalī is what was present in the hearts of those rasikas. And therefore it is Mukunda, Sambandha, Bandhura, Pada. When we translate in English, we go in the reverse direction. Alright? So the term is Mukunda, Sambandha, Bandhura, Pada. Now we translate it Pada, it has poetry which is Bandhura. Bandhura means very sweet. And why is it sweet? Because Sambandha, it is related to somebody. It is related to whom, dear devotees? Mukunda. This poetry is very sweet because it is related to one particular personality. And who is that personality? Mukunda. And Mukunda is the personification of Saundarya. Saundarya, how do you translate Saundarya? Beauty. But beauty can't do justice to the term Saundarya. Today many people have beauty. Beauty is listed mostly by looking at somebody's face nowadays. That's how you say somebody is beautiful. But Sri Rupa Goswami will specify in the Ujjwal Nilmani what is Saundarya. That when each and every limb of a person's body is neither too fat nor too thin, perfectly rounded, and immediately attracts the eyes especially, and there is symmetry in each and every limb of that particular person, that particular person is said to have Saundarya. And our Mukunda is having that sweetness, because as soon as you look at him, then you experience the Saundarya of Mukunda, you experience the sweetness of Mukunda. And as a result, Pramada Urmi Sindhu, it is a Sindhu, it is an ocean of Pramada Urmi, of waves after waves of ecstasy. But you need to be a person of a certain type in order to experience it. And just as there may be nice music playing in the class, but only a person whose ear is trained in classical music will be able to understand what is happening. Not everybody can understand. Everybody else just says, yeah, it was a nice song, yeah, we loved it. But only a person who is, in Sanskrit it is called Gandharva Vasit Shrotra. If Gandharvas have trained your ear, then you know what is the beauty of what is being sung. So similarly, relishing Padyāvalī requires a culture of experiencing Bhakti Ras. It cannot be easily had by those who are not proficient in it. And it should certainly not be had by somebody who is against Bhakti Ras. I have never seen Sri Rupa Goswami criticize anybody in his literature, except for the Arasik. The only person that Sri Rupa Goswami critiqued in his Lalita Madhav, Vidagdha Madhav is the person who does not understand Bhakti Rasa. And therefore Sri Rupa Goswami also expects us to have some understanding and some culture of this rasa. Ramya, the Padyāvalī is Ramya. She is a lady and she is sweet because she is sung in different meters. Sometimes you have a verse in front of you and we are not able to sing. So then the sweetness of the verse doesn't really come through. But if you are aware of the science of singing meters, then you can sing the same verse. Alright? So we sung this verse in one particular tune. So every particular verse can be sung in many tunes. Right? The verse is in Vasanta Tilakam. Ramya, you should sing it sweetly. Dear devotees, sing with me now again in a different tune. Padyāvalī virachita rasikar mukunda Sambandha bandhura pada pramodormi sindhu Ramya samasta tamasam damani kramena Sangrayate kritikadambaka kautukaya. So she is Ramya, she is sweet because you can sing her. See, often all the beauty and sweetness is centralized in the feminine aspects of nature. The masculine aspects of nature are not, glorified as being beautiful too much, unless it is Shri Krishna. And therefore, you see, in the world, beauty is in everything that is feminine. All the beauty, Bhagavan invested mostly in entities that are feminine. And to the masculine, what did he give? Strength and everything else. But the beauty aspects, Bhagavan invested mainly in the feminine individuals, entities within this world and also within the spiritual world. Because you can say Sri Krishna is beautiful as a masculine entity in the spiritual world. But Sri Krishna is not the most beautiful one in the spiritual world. We all know that. Because Sri Krishna may be amazed at looking at his own beauty, but he becomes even more amazed by looking at somebody else's beauty. Yes. So therefore we are worshippers of that feminine principle, and her name is Sri Radha. Ramya. Therefore all beautiful entities are assigned a feminine gender by Sri Rupa Goswami. Sri Rupa Goswami loves to see beauty in feminine entities so much that when he glorified Harinam, Harinam is not a feminine entity. The term Nam is not feminine in gender. But when he composed that verse, Tunde Tandavini Ratim Vitanute Tundavali Labdhaye, at the last line he said Krishneti Varnadvayi, that feminine entity having two syllables, Krishna. Even to Krishna Nam he assigned which gender? Feminine. So that beauty is constant whether it is the material world or the spiritual world. So Sri Rupa Goswami also assigns a gender to this particular compilation. And what gender has been assigned? Feminine, Padyāvalī. And all the adjectives are also in the feminine gender. Samasta tamasam damani, and she can suppress all the ignorance of those who listen to her carefully. One of the purposes of Kavya, poetics, is mentioned by the previous poets as Kanta Sammitataya Upadesha Yuje. Shastra speaks in three ways: Prabhuvat, Mitravat, Kantavat. In three ways Shastra speaks. First is, please repeat after me, Prabhuvat. Prabhuvat. Speaks like a master, orders like a master. For example, the Vedas say, Satyam vada dharmam chara. Speak the truth. Walk on the path of dharma. And you better do that. Else, you don't want to see what is the result of not following that. This is where Shastra speaks like Prabhu. Sometimes Shastra speaks like Mitra, a friend. Yeah? And many places in Shastra, you will find instructions where Shastra is giving recommendations. Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Satvatam Pati Shrotavyah Kirtitavyascha. That Bhagavan should be meditated upon, Bhagavan should be heard. Dear friend, Bhagavan should be meditated upon, Bhagavan should be heard. And Shastra becomes sweetest when it is, please repeat after me, Kantavat. Speaks like a wonderful lady, speaks like a wonderful lady, sweet lady, who is like a wife, Kanta. And statements are there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam Shukamukhadamrita drava samyutam Pibata bhagavatam rasam alayam Muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. Drink the rasa of Srimad Bhagavatam. Won't you drink the rasa of Srimad Bhagavatam? So Shastra speaks Kantavat. Kantavat means like a wife. Like a wife who is speaking sweetly. All right? It's very important to specify that. So in this way, poetry is like that wife. A person will not easily listen to a Prabhu, and even if a person listens to a Prabhu, a master, they carry out those tasks very grudgingly. But when a lover speaks to us, then they will definitely do it. So that's the power of poetry, kavya. And devotional poetry especially has that nature. Samasta tamasam damani. When you come in contact with her, all of your unhappiness will be lost. Kramena sangriyate. I am collecting these poetry now in a particular sequence, topic wise, but for whom? He says Kriti kadambaka kautukaya. There is alliteration of ka. Please repeat after me. Kriti kadambaka kautukaya. So you can notice the figure of speech. It is called anupras. So it is alliteration, as we say in English. So Sri Rupa Goswami says Kriti kadambaka kautukaya. Kautukaya, when we translate, we go right to left. That's how English works. Kautukaya, for the pleasure of kadambaka, many groups of kriti, intelligent, pious devotees like all of you. So Sri Rupa Goswami compiled this literature for all of you. Right? His intention is not that this literature will be kept in a museum and then 500 years later some PhD scholar who has no background of bhakti will come and he will write a thesis. Rupa Goswami, a Hindu philosopher from the cult of Chaitanya, compiled Padyāvalī. That's not the intention of compiling it. So all of us are the adhikari, the receivers of the tradition of Sri Rupa Goswami, and we should make complete use of it. Our path of Bhakti Yoga is not a path of drying up the heart. So many times I see my nature is a little outspoken, so please excuse me. Many times I see that devotees consider drying up their heart as bhakti. And that is not the path that was given by Sri Rupa Goswami. If you want to dry up your heart, Bhakti Yoga is not the path. Ashtanga Yoga is the path. I promise you, they will dry up your heart like nobody else. I have grown up in such circles. In my childhood I have seen. They do Panchagni. Panchagni means the summer season has not started. Summer season will start, there will be tremendous heat. And under the sun, they will sit without clothes. They'll just have a loin cloth and they will keep 5 fires around them. Panchagni. so that you not only dry up from the inside. You also dry up from the outside. So the path of drying up our heart is not the path of Bhakti Yoga. And I have to say this again and again because I can't emphasize it enough, that a person who is kami means has material desires, still has a better chance of attaining Bhakti Yoga than a person whose heart has dried out. And this Sri Rupa Goswami will mention in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu itself. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, he described 5 main rasas, and we know what are the names of those 5 rasas. What are they? Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. Sri Rupa Goswami did not describe Madhurya Ras in great detail in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And the reason he wrote himself, I am repeating his words, Nivritta Anupayogitvat Duruhatvad Ayam Rasah. Nivritta Anupayogitvat. Those who are too detached, for them Madhurya Ras is useless. It is useless. Why? Because they have been scraping their heart with the sandpaper of over renunciation for so long. And you know what happens when you scrape something with a sandpaper? You start losing that particular thing. The more you scrape, one day will come when we will no longer have a heart. You scrape more and more, one day we will no longer have a heart, and then the heart is the container for experiencing Bhakti Rasa. Is the heart material or spiritual? Please tell me. Be honest. I'll tell you the answer. It is material, isn't it? Is the mind material or spiritual? Material. All right. So then how can these material entities experience something which is spiritual? And Sri Jiva Goswami answers this question because it's a long-standing doubt of many individuals. How can we, those who have a material heart, those who have a material mind, how can we experience something which is spiritual using the material heart and material mind? And Sri Jiva Goswami says, because Bhakti Rasa is spiritual, therefore no material entity can ever have access to spiritual Bhakti Rasa. But if Bhakti Devi decides to descend on a particular individual's heart, then even though such an individual's heart is material or the mind is material, still due to the desire of Bhakti Devi, such a heart or mind becomes semi-spiritualized. And that is the only way by which people who have a material mind and material heart are able to have access to something which is spiritual. Because as long as we have this body, till that point of time, the sense organs which are by nature material are not going to go away. So the only way by which a person can have access to something spiritual is if Bhakti Devi decides, I wish to descend on the heart of such and such individual. And when she descends, a person will feel the connection with Bhakti Devi, and that is when we will experience that rasa. And it is not without proof that I am saying, Ataha Shri Krishna Namadi Na Bhaved Grahyam Indriyai Sevon Mukhehi Jihvadau Swayam Eva Sphurati Adaha. This is the praman, the proof that Sri Jiva Goswami quotes. Shri Krishna Namadi Na Bhaved Grahyam Indriyai. Any name, form, quality or pastime of Shri Krishna cannot be grasped by the material senses. But Swayam Eva Sphurati, Bhakti Devi decides to descend on somebody's material senses, and that is when the senses become semi-spiritualized by the power of Bhakti Devi, and that is how we experience what is known as Bhakti Ras. So, this particular literature is written for such individuals who have faith that although my mind is material or spiritual, what is my mind, dear devotees? Material. My heart is material. But if I stay in contact with the Rasikas, it is possible that Bhakti Devi will kindly agree to descend on the pathways of my heart. And that is the confidence with which we speak and hear Sri Rupa Goswami's Padyāvalī. You have a good voice, Prabhu? Okay. Mataji, you can speak the translation. Yes.
These verses named Padyāvalī have been created by great Rasika devotees of the past. The Padyāvalī is beautiful due to being directly related to Lord Mukunda. It generates waves of joyous intoxication in the ocean of happiness for the devotees. It is very sweet and it can suppress all ignorance. It is being compiled by me, Sri Rupa Goswami, for the joy of the hosts of intelligent devotees.
For the joy of the hosts of which devotees? Intelligent enough to understand that over attachment to material life and over detachment from material life are both harmful for bhakti. And somebody who is intelligent enough to understand that is a person who is qualified to understand Padyāvalī. For those who are too attached to material life, they will find it difficult, because whenever they hear Padyāvalī, their material impressions will spring up and then they will think of those things. So it will not benefit them much. Those who are too detached and have nothing, they don't want to have anything to do with material life, they also will not be able to derive much benefit. So it is only, as the Srimad Bhagavatam says, na nirvinno na atisakto bhakti yogo asya siddhidah. Neither too attached nor too detached is the person who attains perfection on the path of bhakti yoga. There is a direct statement in the 11th canto where Bhagavan says to Uddhav, na nirvinno na atisakto bhakti yogo asya siddhidah. Neither too attached nor too detached. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in the commentary to that verse says, somebody who is too attached, for him there is karma yoga. Somebody who is too detached, for them there is Jnana and Ashtanga yoga. And for somebody who is neither too attached nor too detached, there is Bhakti yoga. So this is the path of the Bhakti yogis. Now we'll begin with the first verse. This verse is a very simple meditation on Bhagavan Shri Krishna in the meter Anushtup. Anushtup is the standard meter used in Shastra. It's a very flexible meter which was bought on this planet by Adi Kavi Valmiki. Maharshi Valmiki in his Ramayana was the one who introduced this meter on planet Earth. So this meter since then has been the most popular meter used in Sanskrit poetry. We'll try to sing it. Please repeat after me. Namo Nalina Netraya Venu Vadya Vinodine Radhadhara Sudhapana Shaline Vanamaline. Standard meter, dear devotees, you can also sing in another way. Namo Nalina Netraya Venu Vadya Vinodine Radhadhara Sudhapana Shaline Vanamaline. This is standard meter of Sanskrit poetics. It is called Anushtup, 8 syllables per line. Very simple verse, but it has a deep message hidden within it. Every line has alliteration within it. Let's hear the alliteration on the first line. Please repeat after me. Namo Nalina Netraya. What is the alliteration that we can hear, dear devotees? N. N is the English alphabet. The alliteration is Na. Namo Nalina Netraya. Dear devotees, now the best thing to do is draw a painting on the canvas of your heart. Alright, so I'll speak, I'll translate. You have to draw a painting on the canvas of your heart, because the best paintings are not put on walls. The best paintings are hung on the walls of the heart. So I'll translate the verse. Please hear carefully. Namo Nalina Netraya. Obeisances to Nalina Netra. Nalina is the full grown lotus, and Netra is somebody who has eyes which are like a full grown lotus. Dear devotees, within our hearts we should be able to meditate on what Sri Rupa Goswami has given us. Obeisances to that Bhagavan who has lotus like eyes. Venu Vadya Vinodine. Vinodine, he takes immense pleasure in Venu Vadya, in playing the flute. Now Venu is also flute, Vamshi is also flute, Murali is also flute. They all get translated as flute. But Venu is that specific bamboo flute which gives out the sweetest sound amongst all the flutes of Shri Krishna. So Venu Vadya Vinodine, he takes great pleasure in playing on the flute in the middle of the night on the banks of the Yamuna. Radha Dhara Sudha Pana Shaline. And Shaline, his nature is to Sudha Pana, is to drink the nectar of Radha Adhara, that nectar emanating from the lower lip of Sri Radha. Now what nectar emanates from the lower lip of Sri Radha? The nectar of her words, dear devotees, is the first meaning given here. And the second is, if she chews on a particular beetle, tambul, and he gets the remnants of that. That is the second meaning, dear devotees. Radha Adhara Sudha Pana Shaline. He considers himself most fortunate if he is able to relish this nectar. And who is he? Vanamaline. He wears a garland of forest flowers. That forest flower garland liberally hangs from his neck. And that is our Sri Krishna. Now dear devotees, I'll sing again. Please close your eyes. Try to sing after me and visualize on the spot as you are singing. Namo Nalina Netraya. Venu Vadya Vinodine. Radha Sudha Pana. Shaline Vanamaline. So if you were able to draw some painting on the canvas of your heart, it's very nice, you are gradually getting there. It's important to keep drawing these paintings, and I am saying this in the modern context because the modern world has become so visual in nature that you don't need to put any efforts to visualize anything. Everything is there in front of the screen in front of you. And the more visual stimulus a person has, the more difficult it is for a person to draw on the canvas of his or her heart. The previous poets did not have this constant visual stimulus to disturb their eyes. So therefore, most of the paintings they would draw on the canvas of their hearts. And that is the distinction between the poets of previous times and the devotees of today. The devotees today find it difficult to visualize even simple meditations on Bhagavan, most likely because the influence of the external world, the disturbance caused by the images in the external world, makes it difficult for them to visualize something within their heart. So that is how we understand this. It's also very important that this verse is complete in itself. Mataji, can you repeat the first line?
Obeisances to the lotus-eyed one.
All right. The second line?
Obeisances to him who delights in playing the flute.
All right.
Obeisances to him who is an expert in drinking the lower lip nectar of Sri Radha. Obeisances unto Sri Vanamali.
This verse is special because the Naam, Roop, Gun and Leela, all four have been included in a single verse. What is Naam? The name. Name is in the last line. What is the Vanamali? Rupa, his beauty, is given, dear devotees, in the first line. Obeisances to the lotus-eyed one. His guna, his quality, is in the second line. And his lila is in the third line. I hope you are able to understand. A single verse encompasses not only the Naam of Bhagavan, but also the Roop of Bhagavan, the Guna of Bhagavan, the Leela of Bhagavan, and all of this done within a single verse and the shortest common meter, that is Anushtup, and also with alliterations on each and every line.
Wow.
This shloka is unknown author.
This shloka is unknown author. In some editions, it is attributed to the compiler,
Rupa.
Sri Rupa Goswami. Yeah. So, a very sweet verse, dear devotees. Should we pause here or should we move ahead? See, yeah. So the nature of ras is this. All right. Once the tiger has tasted blood, so you can only go in one direction. All right. That's more. So therefore, I am saying there are warnings given by the previous acharyas. Don't go in the direction of rasa. There's a reason why those warnings are given. The reason is because once you get lost in that particular world, it's difficult for you to come out. Not difficult, it's impossible for you to come out. Because the material world is denoted by two adjectives in the Bhagavad Gita. Dukhalayam, Ashashvatam. And what is the meaning of Dukhalayam, Ashashvatam? It's a abode of misery and it's temporary. But the universe of rasa is exactly opposite. Sukhalayam, Shashvatam. It is an abode of bliss and it continues forever. Dear devotees, please tell me, is there anything in this particular room which is from 500 years ago?
Yeah, maybe.
What?
Govardhan.
Govardhan, okay. Shalagram, okay. I am asking about material entities.
Raj.
That's also non-material. No. No. Sri Rupa Goswami's poetry? It's not material, right? So that's the distinction. Bhakti Ras, as it was relished 500 years ago, you can get the same relishment today, right here, right now, provided you have the expertise. Of course, today you are being facilitated by somebody who is handicapped in Bhakti Ras, but I am sure many of you are very expert in relishing these things. And so it's very important to understand how to develop a culture of entering into that universe, because that is the purpose of this particular path. The sooner we learn how to enter into that universe and never come out, the better it is for us. We have spent lifetimes either trying to be a kami or trying to be a yogi. In some lifetimes we attain true love and we become kami. And then true love is separated by death. And then that hankering continues into the next life, and in the next life you do not get the same partner, you get somebody who does not live up to your expectations. And in some lifetimes we become yogi. Isn't it? People frustrated in their attempts to enjoy the world are the ones who became yogis. And people who had a great time in the material world, they don't want to become. Why should they become? Vishnu Charan Prabhu, tell me one reason.
I don't find any reason.
There is no reason for such a person to come to the path of drying your heart and executing Ashtanga Yoga. But both of them have reasons to enter into the universe of Bhakti Ras. Because this particular universe has the capability to give that joy which cannot be experienced in any particular relationship in the material world. And the sooner a person is convinced of this fact, the easier it is for them to enter into this universe. So even the kami, the lusty person, param drishtva nivartate, he'll easily give up, very easily. This is the power of Bhakti Rasa. Now, dear devotees, since you said that we should move ahead, we'll meditate on the sounds emanating from the flute of Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna loves to play 3 types of flute as mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. I'll mention the names, please repeat after me. Vamshi, Murli, Venu. Right? And the Venu especially is the bamboo flute. The bamboo flute, being completely organic, has the most organic sounds. It is not crafted from any metal. It is God's own creation, untouched, in God's own hands, and God Himself plays the 5th note on that particular flute. Well, flute reduces it to one particular dimension, but there are 3 different types of flutes. So the all attractive sounds that emanate from Sri Krishna's Venu, bamboo flute, are mentioned in this particular verse. This verse is by a wonderful devotee poet named Sri Umapati Dhara, and Sri Rupa Goswami compiled this verse. The meter is Sragdhara. Right? Sragdhara is one of the longest meters in Sanskrit poetry. I'll try to string every line by breaking it into 2 parts. Please repeat after me. Sayam vyavartamana khila surabhikula vana sanketanama vikula vana sanketanamani abhiri vrindacheto hatha harana kala siddha mantraksharani saubhagyam vah samanta dadhatu madhubidha keli gopala murte sananda krishna vrinda vanarasika mriga shrenayo venunada. This meter is called Srag Dhara. Srag is garland. What does Srag mean? Garland. And usually garlands are very long. Srag Dhara, a lady wearing a long garland. Srag Dhara. Sometimes you go to a particular program, they give you a garland which just barely fits into your... Some of you may have had that experience. So, but this is not that type of a garland. Srak is, it goes all the way till your knees. So Srak Dhara is a long garland wearing lady. The meter names are also named after ladies. I told you, what is the reason? God has invested most of the beauty in which gender? feminine. All right, so Bhagavan has invested that beauty, and therefore most of the meter names are also in the feminine gender. Now, you might have heard this meter somewhere else. Please sing with me. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. So that's not a paragraph, dear devotees. Vandeham Shri Guru. Okay, it's a verse in the meter Srag Dhara. So this particular verse is also in the same meter Srag Dhara, one of the longest meters in Sanskrit poetry. The nature of Sanskrit poetry is that something is being glorified, they won't tell you what is being glorified. All right, so you keep guessing till the end of the verse. But I have given a small hint in the title, so I had to break, so I had to break the secret a little bit. But usually when you would see the verse, till the end of the verse you are guessing what is being glorified, and at the end you come to know so then that is called as Ascharyaras. What is it called as? Ascharya. Ascharya is wow. So that wow factor is, Sri Kavi Karnapur says, Yam vinana raso rasa. No rasa is rasa unless it has this rasa. Which rasa?
Wow.
Wow. All rasas need to have an element of this rasa, Ascharya ras, and only when you have an element of Ascharya ras is when the rasa attains success. So wow is the underlying factor behind all the rasas, Ascharya ras. So, Sayam Vyavartamana. Sayam, it's evening time. Dear devotees, you have to draw another painting on the canvas of your heart. Sayam, it's evening time in Shri Vrajadham, Shri Vrindavan. And Sayam Vyavartamana. Vyavartamana. This particular sound is resounding everywhere within the sky. Although it's not a very loud sound. It's a gentle sound, but it is resounding everywhere in the evening sky. And Akhila Surabhi Kula Ahvana Sanketa Namani. And Surabhi Kula, all the cows, each and every cow is feeling that these sounds are specifically calling out my name. Each and every cow feels that this particular sound is calling out my name, nobody else. Abhiri Vrinda Cheto Hatha Harana Kala Siddha Mantra Aksharani. And Abhiri, when the cowherd women, when the gopis, they hear Cheto Hatha Harana Kala Siddha Mantra Aksharani, these same resounding sounds become like a mystic mantra that forcibly snatches away their heart from their homes. Sometimes you cast a magical spell on somebody and they become completely hypnotized, their hearts are stolen away. So these sounds are like that hypnotic spell which is cast in the evening, which snatches away their hearts from whatever work they are doing in their homes. Saubhagyam Vaha Samantat. May these sounds give all good fortune unto all of you. Madhubidha Keli Gopala Murte. Because these sounds belong to Keli Gopala Murti, a particular person who is just dressed up like a cowherd boy for the sake of play. for the sake of Leela, he is dressed up as a cowherd boy. Sananda Krishna Vrindavana Rasika Mriga Shrenayo. And all the other animals and people of Vrindavan, whatever they are doing, they simply stop in their footsteps and they become paused, hearing of those sounds. They become frozen in time. And what is this, dear devotees? Venunada. The sweet, soft fifth note emanating from the Venu, the bamboo flute of Shri Krishna in the evening. So, dear devotees, this is a wonderful meditation on the flute sounds of Shri Krishna. Mataji, kindly.
While resounding in the evening sky, they act as indicators for calling the various groups of Surabhi cows. They act as magical spells, expert in forcibly stealing away the hearts of the gopis, and they joyously attract the host of Rasika dears, devotees of Vrindavan. May these soft sounds emanating from the Venu of that Madhusudan who has assumed an eternal form of a cowherd bestow all round auspiciousness unto you all.
So, dear devotees, I was not satisfied with the existing translation, so I did a new translation for this particular verse. So that the sounds of coming from the Venu stay at the end. In other translations, it was at the beginning. So I wanted to maintain the secret till the end. So this is how in poetics a particular entity is glorified. Even in that verse, Tunde Tandavini Ratim, she dances in the courtyard of the mouth. Who dances? We will not tell you right now. Karna Kroda Kadambini, when she enters the holes of the ear, she sprouts into millions. Who sprouts? We will not tell you. Chetaha Prangana Sangini, and when she enters the courtyard of the heart, she takes over like a housewife and rules over the home of the body. Just like a housewife rules over the home, similarly she rules over all the senses. Who is she? No jane, I don't know. Janita ki yad biramritai. How many varieties of nectar went into her formation? Now tell us, who is she? Krishna iti varna dvai. The two-syllable lady. And what are the two syllables? Krishna. And that's all. So we should remember this technique of the previous poets. The entity to be glorified should be kept as a secret till the very end. Otherwise, in the very beginning, you know the entity. See, many times entities are known. So therefore, if you place the name in the beginning, not much secret remains. And when there is not much secret, there is not much wow. When there is not much wow, there can't be rasa. So this wow is at the center of all the rasas, dear devotees. Anyways, should we pause here or move ahead? Move ahead? All right. Sri Rupa Goswami knows 500 years ago, people are plagued by one problem, and that problem is called lust. Calm. And there are people who want to drive away calm from their particular lives. If I could meet calm somewhere on the street, isn't it? I'd be walking with a sword in my hand. On first sight, I would slaughter him so that he would stop troubling me again and again. But dear devotees, unfortunately, no matter how much people try to get rid of calm, calm is someone who reigns supreme over everybody in this world. And I am going to explain this in some detail because many people think calm simply means lust. But actually calm means creative tendency. Any creative tendency within the world falls within this goal of life. There are 4 goals of life. And who knows what are the 4 goals of life? Dharma, Artha, Kam, Moksha. So anything creative that you see in the material world, somebody cooks nicely, it falls under which goal of life? Kam. Somebody paints nicely, it falls under Kam. So all creative agency in the world is driven by one particular goal of life. And which goal of life is that, dear devotees? Kam. Isn't it? It's not dharma, it's not artha, it's not moksha. Often it's Kam. So, this particular Kam, many people, those who are walking on the path of spiritual life want to completely drive away this Kam, or if possible kill it forever. But it is one of the 4 goals of human life, isn't it? And to drive away that particular goal of human life would be to keep yourselves bereft of that particular goal. And it is therefore very difficult, because it is part of every human's life. And Kam, if it doesn't manifest as lust, it starts manifesting in other ways. And I'll explain how it manifests in other ways. There are those people who think we have overcome Kam. Why? Because we no longer think of lust. And then those people redirect their creative tendencies for Kam in different directions. It comes out anyways. Some people end up making thousands of disciples. Some people end up making many big projects. I hope you're able to understand. Kam is Kam, you can't escape it. It will follow you everywhere. There is a Gita in the Mahabharata called Kam Gita. Bhagavad Gita we have all heard. In the Mahabharata, Sri Krishna also speaks another Gita which is called which Gita? Kam Gita. He says, Naham shakyonupayena hantum bhutena kenachit yo maam prayatate hantum gyatva praharane bhalam tasya tasmin praharane pradurbhavami aham. If somebody tries to kill me by any particular means, Kamdev says, I enter into that means and I manifest through that particular means. I hope you are able to understand. So let's say today I decide I want to get rid of Kam, lust. And I say the way to do that is learn something new, learn how to cook nicely, right? And then I learn how to cook hundreds of new dishes. Kam is laughing in the corner. You just switched from one manifestation of me to another manifestation of me. Because as I said, Kam is not simply lust. Kam refers to any tendency for creativity in this world. Is called as what? Kam. So most people just keep switching from one variety of Kam to another variety of Kam. And they think that we have overcome Kam. But that is not how Kam is overcome. And Sri Rupa Goswami is going to highlight this point in this next verse of Sri Padyāvalī. And Sri Rupa Goswami composes this verse. It's a verse from an anonymous author. The verse is in the meter Shardula Vikriditam. I'll sing the verse. It's the same as Shad Goswami Ashtakam, but we'll sing in a different tune. Kashayan cha bhojanadiniyaman no vavane vasato nadiniyaman no vavane vasato Vyakhyanādat vāmune vratabara chittodbhavakshiyate Vāmuni vratabara chittodbhavakshiyate Kintu sphita kalinda shailatanaya tireshu vikridato Latanaya tireshu vikridat Govindasya padarvinda bhajana rambhasya leshadape Govindasya padarvinda bhajana rambhasya So Sri Rupa Goswami is compiling this verse, anonymous author. Okay. Kashayanna. Kashaya refers to kashaya, saffron cloth. If you want to overcome kam, kashayanna, not by kashaya. What is kashaya, dear devotees? Saffron cloth. Another meaning of kashaya is, in Ayurveda, there are some herbal medicines for reducing your what do they call? Power of lust. Libido. Thank you. Yeah. For reducing that. So you can drink it and it's gone. Now please raise your hands, how many of you would like to order? Yeah. So Kashaya, the commentator, Sanskrit commentator on this verse, Sri Virchandra Goswami, he says two meanings. Kashaya means saffron cloth, and Kashaya also means that Ayurvedic medicine for reducing one's lust. And Sri Rupa Goswami, the second term after Kashayan is what, dear devotees? No, it's a common term in all languages. Na. Not by Kashaya. Not by saffron cloth or not by taking Ayurvedic medicines.
So, what is the secret?
Till the end we are reserving this. Because what will happen, I'll tell you. Sri Rupa Goswami is very intelligent. When these individuals who wrote these verses, they wanted to have a final solution to this problem. They didn't want a temporary, immediate solution, what they call patchwork. You know what is patchwork? They didn't want patchwork. They wanted a complete final solution. And Kashaya, and today I may decide, well, Grihastha ashram is not good. Why? Calm. So, let me give up this dhoti. I'll ask Brajnath Prabhu to prepare new dhoti. Which color, Prabhu?
Just to ask Maharaj. I cannot do that.
Okay.
But anyhow, I will.
Oh, yeah, for me you will do, right? Make an exception for
Yes,
me. So then I took Kashaya. It's not wrong to take Kashaya. The verse is not speaking against taking sannyas. But taking sannyas as the only means to defeat Kam, sorry, that's not going to happen. What happens is Kamdev laughs and says, I will manifest through your Kashaya. So wherever, because you see a sannyasi or a renunciant is usually given more respect in society. And if they start taking that respect seriously, it's the same Kam. I hope you are able to understand. It's the same Kam now manifesting through the same medium that they used to overcome Kam. Isn't it? Someday we will discuss Kam Gita, where Kamdev is laughing and saying, you use whatever tricks you want, I will become that trick. And I will manifest in that particular way. So Sri Rupa Goswami knows Kashayanna, not by saffron cloth. Nacha bhojanadi niyaman, and not by strict rules of diet. Not by strict rules of diet. Because anyways for Gaudiya Vaishnava it is difficult. The foundation itself is not very good in this regard. Bandara is still more of a North Indian concept. Gaudiya Vaishnava concept is Gol Parjanta, eat till the neck. Yes. Mahaprabhu follower. And at the end there should be sweets. So that is Gaudiya Vaishnava. So when Mahaprabhu went to Kashi, the sannyasis, they said, what sort of a sannyasi? The Bengali sannyasi, they are eating till here. and then they will take 1 or 2 sweets, and they are doing Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. If this is sannyas, then what are we doing? You know? The sannyasis in Kashi, they are thinking like this. So the sannyasis in Kashi, they made fun of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They say, it is historically recorded, they made fun of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Wah, sannyasi, wah. What sannyas, you know. This new sannyasi from Bengal, he eats till here. Huh? And in the daytime, he dances in the street. If this is sannyas, then tell me what is grihastha ashram, you know. So Mahaprabhu used to stay at the home of a Marathi Brahmin, Maharashtrian Brahmin. So that news came to that Brahmin. So the Brahmin didn't like it. So that Brahmin also was a Sanskrit scholar. He wrote a Sanskrit verse in refutation. Simho bali dvirada shukara mansa bhoji. A lion eats red meat of a cow or bull, isn't it? Yet only mates twice in a year. And a pigeon survives on vegetarian diet. Yet the pigeon mates multiple times every day. So Prakashanand Saraswati, tell me if diet is the cause of lust. He wrote a verse like that. I remember first line. Simho bali dvirada shukara mamsa bhoji. That way he wrote a reply. So when it reached to Prakashanand Saraswati, they were furious. So the stage was set for a big showdown. And therefore when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went, he took a very humble position, because he didn't want to have a big fiery showdown in front of, because his followers had already set the stage for that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat near in a corner and sat near the place where they would wash their hands. And when Prakashanand Saraswati saw that actually he's a different person, he doesn't look very arrogant. So then Prakashanand Saraswati's mindset changed and he approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyways, nacha bhojanadi niyaman. We're coming back to the point. Not by fixing rules of diet. Why? Because Kamdev is laughing again. You will select rules of diet and you will have this ego. Now I am not Hari Parṣad Das. I am Hari Parṣad Das who eats once in a day. So that designation will go wherever I go. And everywhere my glories will spread. This is not Hari Parṣad Das. This is Hari Parṣad Das who eats once a day. And then one day some Mataji will come and say, Prabhu, you eat once a day. I want to learn from you. Sure, why not? And that will be the end. I hope. Nacha bhojanadi niyama. Sri Rupa Goswami is very intelligent. No va vane vasato. Not by staying in the forest. We saw in the case of Saubhari Muni. Not only was he was in a forest, he was inside a river within a forest. So not by that. Vyakhyanad. Not by giving expert lectures on how to remain a brahmachari. No. Not by giving such talks or not by hearing such talks. Why? Because once again Kamdev will enter your mind and say, now you are very expert. Now you can teach anybody. Isn't it? And then that pratishtha comes. What pratishtha? That, oh, wonderful, this Prabhu, who your name? Avinash Prabhu. He has mastered the art of speaking on brahmacharya. So wherever he goes, he will be glorified. And dear devotees, when he receives that glorification, it is nothing but the manifestation of what, dear devotees? Kama. Muni vrata bharat, and if you keep quiet also, it will not happen. Because the tongue will keep quiet, but this will not keep quiet. Chitta udbhava kshiyate. Calm will not be defeated like this. Kintu, however.
Secret comes out now.
We're getting closer.
We are getting close. Kintu, however, don't lose hope. Dear devotees, if you want to defeat somebody who is very powerful, you bring somebody who is much more powerful in all possible ways. Don't just defeat one aspect of that particular personality. Kintu sphita kalinda shaila tanaya. Kalindi is Yamuna, dear devotees. Sphita, on her broad banks. Tireshu, on those banks, vikridito. There is somebody who is playing in the middle of the night, sporting in the middle of the night. Who is sporting in the middle of the night? Govindasya. Padyāvalī, his lotus feet. Bhajana, if you develop that true rasik attachment, if you develop that genuine attachment, not just attachment because it is written in a textbook somewhere, if you develop that genuine attachment, not even if you develop, bhajan arambha, if you begin to develop that attachment. No. Arambhasya leshat, if you have a tiny fragment of the beginning of genuine attachment to that Sri Krishna, that is when you have tasted blood, and you will never look back at calm again in the same way. Never again. Defeat pleasure by superior pleasure. Don't defeat pleasure by inferior pleasures. Because all other things are nothing but manifestations of inferior pleasures. The best way to defeat calm is to have prema. And that is perhaps the only way of defeating it. Here is the translation. Please read.
Not by wearing saffron cloth, not by restricting food and other sense activities, not by living in the forest, not by discussing philosophy, and not by observing a vow of silence, but only by the slightest beginning of genuine devotional service to the lotus feet of Sri Govinda, who enjoys pastimes on the Yamuna's wide banks, is Kamadev finally stopped.
Okay. So dear devotees, kama here means lust. That's a specific meaning. Generic meaning of kama is any desire for sense enjoyment in any way whatsoever. What is the definition of kama? We should learn the definition of kama from the Acharya of kama. In India, there was Dharma Shastra, there is Artha Shastra, and then there is also which Shastra? Kam Shastra. Unfortunately, when Kam Shastra went outside of India, especially when it reached the West, people took it as a literature for enjoyment of sex, basically, and that is how it was misinterpreted. When in fact, Kama refers to any and every desire for creativity. Only one of the 7 chapters in Kama Shastra is dedicated to actual engagement of male and female. The rest of the 6 chapters are dedicated to various topics surrounding the Grihastha ashram. And the definition of Kama is given here so that we have a comprehensive understanding. Shrotra tvak chakshur jivva ghrananam atma samyogena manasadhitishtitanam sveshu vishayeshu anukulyatah pravrittir kamaha. Mataji, please read.
The delightful engagement of the ears, skin, eyes, tongue, and nose in their respective sense objects, along with the conjunction of the mind and the living entity, is known as kama, desire.
This, dear devotees, is the definition of kama. So काम doesn't just refer to lust, although lust is the specific meaning of काम, because lust brings all of these senses together in one point, and that is why it is considered as the most relevant meaning of काम. But the generic meaning of काम is this, and the reason why I am specifying this definition is because in the Kama Gita, Kam is laughing. You try to suppress lust by using one technique, he will manifest in that very technique. So you may remain a celibate, but you will have other types of Kam in your life. Yes?
I believe that the English word lust originally didn't refer just to men and women.
Right.
It referred to any enjoyment.
Right, yeah.
So even
Yeah, same as Kam.
yeah.
Yes. So it's a very important point to understand. Kam cannot be subdued by artificial methods. There is a very nice article written by Srila Bhakti Siddhant Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. It's called Vatsasur. And in Vatsasur article, he writes something. He says that there is nothing spiritual about being able to control your senses. And you can go through that article, because Vatsasur is the demon who represents this disease of lust within the heart. And he says there is nothing spiritual about being able to control one's senses. Such self-control is automatically produced by the awakening of the soul. This is what his exact words. Such self-control is automatically produced by the awakening of the soul. So this is what is the Gaudiya Vaishnava understanding. What Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada gave is what Sri Rupa Goswami has also given in Sri Padyāvalī, and that is the Gaudiya Vaishnava way. Otherwise, we will be lost on a path which is not Gaudiya Vaishnava. Dear devotees, as I said, this path is for somebody who is neither too attached nor too detached, who understands that everything in the world has a utility, and the utility, everything in the world can be understood in the sense of seva to Bhagwan, and that nothing in this world is to be rejected. So this particular understanding is the understanding of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Even attraction between man and woman, somebody who has experienced attraction between man and woman, Sri Rupa Goswami composes a verse, he quotes a verse from the Vishnu Puran. Yuvati naam yatha yuni, yunam cha yuvatav yatha, mano bhi ramate tadvan, mano me ramatam tvai. Many of you might have heard the translation. Just as the mind of a young boy is attracted to a young girl, and the mind of a young girl is attracted to a young boy, may my mind be similarly attracted to you. Even the attraction between male and female in this world is utilized in the devotional service of Bhagwan indirectly through such prayers. Isn't it? I am quoting many of you might have heard that particular verse. It's in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So even the attachment between men and women in this world is utilized indirectly in devotional service. It is indirectly dovetailed by saying that may my attachment be towards you, dear devotees, in this way. So I will pause at this particular point of time, and tomorrow we will continue, because we can't just specify that this is the solution, Krishna Leela is the solution. Yes, we also have to start relishing it. So we'll have more direct verses related to Krishna Leela from tomorrow onwards. I'll pause my speech here, dear devotees. Yadatra skhalitam kinchid vidvam saha purayantu tat, yadatra saushthavam kinchit tad guroreva me nahi. Yadatra skhalitam kinchit. It is possible I might have made a mistake while speaking something, but vidvam saha, you are learned devotees, purayantu tat, please correct any mistakes. But yadatra saushthavam kinchit, if there is anything nice in what you heard, please remember tad guroreva, it belongs to my Gurujanas. Me nahi, it doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much once again, Brajnath Prabhu. Thank you, Vrinda Mataji. Thank you, Anuragani Mataji. Thank you, all of you wonderful devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, do we have time for?
Yeah.
Okay. So we can have some questions. Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for a very nice class. I have this question, like, I have been trying to find out what the rasik means for a long time, because my Gurudev gave us this hint that, you have to look for rasik sun. This is to get the, like to the goal. And since then, I have been like, in my own way, like, I don't know who rasik is and what is it that I've been asking many people. But long time ago, when I was living in Vrindavan, I came in contact with the local people as well in Braj. They use this rasik word very, very commonly, but maybe because of my own offensive nature or something, I actually misunderstood, because they were using the word rasik like very casually. Oh, he's very rasik. So I was actually thinking that maybe something like they're taking it cheaply. So I actually kind of developed that thing, oh, rasik is that. But now Gurudev said you have to look for rasiks. So now when I'm coming across this whole philosophy, and Rupa Goswami, now more I'm like trying to understand with your lectures, with the help of your lectures, I'm finding that Rupa Goswami is actually so merciful that he's giving us all of these things, and not just that, he's giving us the way to taste it, like he's trying to teach us, like just like an art of teaching somebody cooking, somebody trying to teach music, who even don't have the sense for the music, they learn the theory. So, but now my question, like before you came, I was asking Rajnath Prabhu also. We're also told that our journey starts from Shraddha to the Prem, with all those stations in between. To me, like that's what I want to make sure that I'm understanding it right. The whole Shastra of Rasa is actually kind of, is it like a shortcut from Shraddha to Prem? Otherwise, we were supposed to think like we have to take lifetimes before we can actually get to the Prem, where you will be strong enough and nothing will actually, no anarthas will affect you. But like in your verses, you explain that, like when you start relishing it, you'll be strong enough to not fall down because of tasting something higher. So and where exactly this Shastra of studying the rasa Rupa Goswami wanted us to put in our journey?
Alright, so what role does rasa play in our journey of progress?
The study of rasa.
Yeah.
I feel I don't have the taste, but I'm trying to think that Rupa Goswami is trying to teach me how to taste it.
Sure. The central literature of the Sampradaya is based on rasa. Bhakti Rasa Amrit Sindhu. So the crux of the Sampradaya is based on an understanding of the principle of Bhakti Rasa. There is a difference between rasa in the mundane world, which is called Prakrit Rasa, and rasa in Bhakti, which is called Bhakti Rasa. Rasa in the mundane world also is not mundane, according to authors of poetics. It has a supramundane aspect to it. But Bhakti Rasa is completely supramundane. It is beyond this particular material world. In any case, our entire path is of relishing Bhakti Rasa, and the reason being Srimad Bhagavatam itself is based on Bhakti Rasa. In the 3rd verse of the Bhagavatam, the eligible person for Srimad Bhagavatam is specified as a rasik. A rasik is a connoisseur of rasa. Rasa is experienced in 2 ways: Drishya Kavya, Shravya Kavya. Drishya Kavya is if you see a particular drama on a stage happening in front of you, it's called Drishya Kavya. Shravya Kavya is if you hear a particular narration. You don't see anything on a stage, you hear a particular narration, the stage is within your heart. That is called Shravya Kavya. So Drishya Kavya and Shravya Kavya. These are the 2 ways specified by the previous acharyas for experiencing Bhakti Rasa. Now, when we get along with individuals who are Rasika, and what is the meaning of Rasika? A particular person who becomes so absorbed in the narrations of Sri Krishna that they lose their sense of identity for that particular time, and they become fully absorbed in that particular pastime, and they start experiencing what is known as anubhav, after effects of experience of that rasa. Now we can label somebody as a rasik, that's a fact. We can label anybody as a rasik, but unless that person has the capability of ras charvana is the capability of extracting rasa and tasting rasa from a particular pastime of Bhagwan, from a particular name, form of Bhagwan. Till that point of time, that person is not truly a rasik. And my Gurujanas used to say that although Srimad Bhagavatam is compared to a mango fruit, it is easiest to extract rasa from a mango fruit, isn't it? But when you look in actuality and you consider the condition of the entities in the world, to extract rasa from devotional literature sometimes is like extracting rasa from a jackfruit, isn't it? There's a big difference, because you can't extract rasa easily from a jackfruit. There is rasa within a jackfruit also. It's very sweet.
If it's ripe.
Yeah, it's ripe. Yeah, it's ripe, of course. But you get a jackfruit and you see the outside. How does it look out on the outside? Yeah, it's spiky. And that's how Srimad Bhagavatam appears to many people. Because it is what it is. For them, it is a jackfruit. So then you need a rasik, somebody who can crack it open. Right? And then jackfruit is very sticky. You know, I don't know how many of you put your hands in a ripe jackfruit, and it's very sticky. So those doubts, you know, which appear in is this truly the goal of life? Is this how I am supposed to progress? Will I really attain? It's like that stickiness which you have to get rid of. And finally, if you have that coconut oil of Shastra applied on your hands by the Guru, those doubts won't stick on your hands. That's how you first apply coconut oil on your hands before putting it inside a jackfruit. And then you take out the flesh of the jackfruit, remove the seed, and that flesh, when you taste it, you have rasa, isn't it? So for most individuals, it's like extracting rasa from a jackfruit. And therefore, this term rasika may be used commonly, but unless somebody can help us extract that juice in our personal life and teach us how to do that, till that point of time there may be rasikas in the world, but we have not found that rasika who is like-minded to us. And we have to find that rasika, because Sri Rupa Goswami says that sajati yashaya snigdhe sadhu sangha svatovare. Yeah, associate with those who are like-minded. And how do you know they are like-minded? In their association, you are immediately able to taste the jackfruit, which otherwise is very difficult. So that's how. So many times we listen to katha, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't give any taste. Why? Jackfruit.
From outside.
From outside. Jackfruit. But then comes a rasik, smashes it, apply coconut oil, pull it out, take out the seeds and gives it in your hand. Take. Alright? So then you see that person, how he does it, then you learn from that person. That's a big culture of understanding Bhakti Ras. And that is throughout that's the journey. From Shraddha to Prem, that's the journey.
So it's not that later stages or throughout.
What will you do in the beginning stages? Ashtanga Yoga? No? Yeah. Thank you so much. All right. Anybody else? Yes. Then I'll come to you. Yes.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for such a wonderful enlightenment, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my question is, like you were stating, that a devotee must not be too attached and neither be too attached.
Too detached.
To detach.
Yeah.
So, is there any parameter about that? Like, what amount of like he should be? Because like we see, like you gave example of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So we see his life, he led extremely austere life.
Yeah.
We see our Goswamis, then they have given, Hari Bhakti Vilas, and there if anyone reads, like it's like too much of, like for Ekadashi Niyam, and so much rules and regulations.
Yeah.
So is that so that this is the parameter they are giving, or like this is the parameter of being detached, or is it like something like?
All right. See, what is the parameter of being neither too attached nor too detached? And this question is very important because in the modern world we are always concerned about standardization. And this question arises out of a desire of standardization. So we need to make a standard that this is what is neither too attached nor too detached. But tradition doesn't work on standardization. That is not how it works. I'll ask a question and all of you answer in yes or no. I'm just speaking of material nature. Does material nature create two trees exactly the same?
No.
Two branches on the same tree exactly the same?
No.
Two leaves on the same branch exactly the same?
No.
Then how can two individuals be the same? Is it possible? No. So when we are trying to live somebody else's life, we are basically trying to imitate a particular personality which is not our innate nature. Examples are quoted from Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. These examples are very good. Examples should also be quoted from Sri Rai Ramanand, from Sri Jayadev Goswami, Sri Pundarik Vidyanidhi. But those examples are not often quoted. Why? We should make all of these devotees, bring all of them together and ask them what is the standard of neither too attached nor too detached. Sri Pundarik Vidyanidhi will say, well, I consume betel nut. Isn't it? That's what he Vamshidhar Babaji. Yeah. Sri Pundarik Vidyanidhi will say, I consume betel nut, I have 10 fingers, 10 rings. Sapphire, diamond, ruby. And then there is a third person who will say that is not for you. For you there is detachment. I hope you are able to say. Huh? There is a third person who in the corner who doesn't want you to take that standard. So the custodian of regulated devotional service will tell you not to do that. But it's a fact that Bhagavan's Kripa is irrespective of these things. Bhagavan's Kripa comes on a person who follows the orders of the Gurujanas and who earnestly waits for Bhagavan to bestow his mercy. Neither too attached nor too detached is relative for the situation of a particular person because different devotees are in different varnas and ashramas. You can't expect a person who is in the Grihastha ashram to have the same standard of neither too attached nor too detached as a person who is within the sannyasa ashram. Standardization is the disease that industrial revolution created. Please try to understand this. And Bhagavan doesn't believe in standardization of everything. Standardization came to us after industrial revolution. Previously we wanted some standards, but we were flexible about it. That's why the Bhagavatam also says neither too attached nor too detached. Can the Bhagavatam not give a standard there itself? It can, obviously it can give. But the Bhagavatam doesn't give a standard there. Why? Because these standards are to be decided between the Guru and the disciple. So the disciple goes to the Guru and tells the Guru, this is my situation. And the Guru gives a custom-made, tailor-made solution for that particular disciple. That's specialization. And how do you know that you have the mercy of Bhagavan? Because you have followed the tailor-made solution that Guru has given you. So that is what can we. If a question is asked, can we standardize it? The answer is no. We cannot standardize it because a person individual like Gajendra, who in the heavenly planets is enjoying with so many of his she elephants, is getting the mercy of Bhagavan. A person like Chitraketu, who in the heavenly planets has both his hands around two Gandharva ladies and he is singing Krishna, 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 hey, you may call him a Sahajiya, isn't it? Because that's what he is doing. He has his two hands around two ladies and he is singing the songs of Bhagavan. That's given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. But that's where Bhagwan's mercy manifested in his life. He is in which planet? Earthly planets or heavenly planets? Heaven. Can you expect the same standards of in a person in the heavenly planets? You cannot expect that from a person who is present on the earthly planets. Alright? So this we should understand, that the relative situation of every person is different. And for a person to attract the mercy of Bhagavan, if we put material conditions on attracting the mercy of Bhagavan, then the mercy of Bhagavan will become subordinate to those material conditions, and that will defeat the very purpose of that mercy. It is a self-defeating proposition to put the mercy of Bhagavan under material conditions. Alright? The Muslim who chanted once haram got liberated. And here I am daily Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Am I worse than that Muslim? Bolo. No, no. At least maybe I am, but there is a mention in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So sometimes in my mind will, am I worse than that Muslim? I am chanting every day so much and still nothing is happening. The answer to that is Bhagavan's Kripa is not legislated by a material framework. But this doesn't mean that you lose all standards. Right? The standards have to be set by the Guru. So when the standards given by the Guru should be followed diligently. And the Guru should be a bona fide Vaishnava who is a Rasik, who has himself reached the platform of Shri Krishna Prem. Then whatever standards they give, Bhagavan will agree to that. Yes.
Regarding this creativity and calm,
Yeah.
Because we are doing some research, we have come from Radhapur.
No.
We have university, especially for Prabhupada, studying this. Prabhupada said in one of his quotes that there are many universities to study different departments of knowledge, but there is no university, no institution to study the constitutional position of the soul. So we are working on that. And this creativity, what you said, is compared to it calm. So if we have some time, we want to speak on that aspect. This is the 64 arts which is mentioned, which is belonging to Radharani. So Prabhuji is here. He has come all the way from. We have come all the way from Radhapur.
Oh, wonderful.
And he has a special subject on that. And we are preaching all over the world, and there are many devotees following. We want to speak on that small aspect because that is connected with our eternal. This is what we are trying to express through that 64 hours.
64 Kala.
Prabhuji's name is Shastra Priya Prabhu.
Okay.
He has actually, because why we came here, because of this Rupa Goswami's Padyāvalī. He has also studied a lot of books on Sri Rupa Goswami.
Okay.
And based on that, he has created this, the creativity, what we call 64 arts we have connected.
Yeah.
And it is all connected to our Ashta Sakhis. That much level we have reached. And it's all coming from Ujjwal Nihimani.
Yeah. 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 So
should I read the 64 art?
no, that we are aware.
So just I want to give the concept, right?
No, that concept also I am aware. If there is a specific question regarding that you have, I will 64 arts I will specify. 64 arts.
So actually, I'm deciding rather for past 4 or 5 years. I'm meditating especially on these topics, particular the 11 identity, right?
Yeah.
So among them, when I read the Jaya Dharma, the particular Bhaktivinoda Thakur, so especially written that the gun, particular the one word is the gun.
Gana.
Group. So in that group, Narayan Maharaj very specifically written that we have to live under the 8 Sakhi.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Every living entity comes under ultimately 8 Sakhi. This is the first circle. So when I meditated, then I found that when I read the Brahm Samhita, there is a 64 art.
Yeah.
and which is especially written by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, that it is whole the 64 art is whole Nitya Leela is nothing but the composition of expression of 64 art.
Yeah.
So when this statement I found, then whole Astakali Leela I found, when I see, visualize, the whole 64 art is different time.
Yeah.
See. So I meditated again, and then I connected with all 8 Sakhi. So like Lalita Sakhi have 8 art, Vishakha have 8 art, Chitra have 8 art. So this all I found, and then I connected. So Rasanand Prabhu in between coming nowadays to me, and then he approached me because I don't have mobile, I'm not putting mobile and anything. So Rasanand, I have so much ecstasy. So Rasanand Prabhu come to me and then telling that I have a nice experience of Gurukul. So can you Prabhuji help me regarding that the 64 art? So I am very much ecstasy because I have surplus. So where to share? Because people are in very confused state. So whether this art is how connected with each and every Shakhi. There is no mention in a scripture.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is again bewildering. So when so many US devotees in a Radha Kund I share, then he is very happy. But where I to share with Indian devotees? People are not believing that how you are going on that sweetest level. But unfortunately, fortunately, the Rasanand come to me. And then I share with Rasanand Prabhu. So he just channelized, and more than 100 devotees I interviewed now. And
Okay.
then all find exact same Sakhi. Just I questioning 5 or 10 questions, and then I just connect and catching the soul. So I have so much confidence on my chart, because I have big chart on all the Sakhis, each and every Sakhi. So each living entity I am now seeing under some Sakhi.
Wonderful. So either you had a question or he had a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the creativity what you were saying,
Yeah.
and you were comparing it to calm. So what my question was that the creativity which you talked, as you said, somebody has kala of cooking, somebody has kala of painting. Actually, all it is connected with the 64 arts. That is what I want.
See, in the Manusmriti it is written, Sarvam kamasya cheshtitam. All creativity is a manifestation of which purushartha? Kam. Whatever you see, creative tendency in the world. In the Vedas it is said, Saha akamayat. He desired. In the beginning of the creation, he desired. Who desired? Bhagavan. Ekoham bahusyam. Alone I am. Let me become many. Prajayeyam. Thus he manifested into many. So the origin of that is with Bhagavan himself. But that is Divya Kam. Divya Kam is that it doesn't degrade you in the material world. That is what it is. Originally, the 64 arts belong to the spiritual world. For the first time in the material world, they were manifested in the literature of Vatsyayan Muni. In the literature of Vatsyayan Muni, they found their first expression in this world. So that is how you find it also in this world, but the origin is in the spiritual world. Sri Jiva Goswami, in his commentary to Dan Keli Kaumudi, he says, Kama Dambha Madan Ritam Bhaje. I worship the Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh of Radha and Krishna. He writes that in the commentary too. But what is that Kam? That Kam should not be equated with the Kam of this material world. The reason is there are some similarities, but there is a big distinction at the same time. But originally, any creative tendency, whether it is in the material world or the spiritual world, falls under one goal of life. That goal of life is Kam. Sarvam kamasya cheshtitam. That is what it is. So therefore, traditionally, those who give up householder life, traditional sannyas is you don't even cook. That is traditional sannyas. Why do you not cook? Because even cooking is an expression of which goal of life? Kam. Don't even cook. right? And you don't try to read too many literature, you don't try to make too many disciples. Traditional sannyas, I'll show you a verse from that so that it solidifies that understanding. This is for the sannyasi. 7:13:8. न शिष्यान अनुबध्नीत ग्रंथान नैवाभ्यसेत बहु न व्याख्याम उपयुंजित नारंभान आरभेत क्वचित. Mataji, can you read the translation?
A sannyasi must not present allurements of material benefits to gather many disciples, nor should he unnecessarily read many books or give discourses as a means of livelihood. He must never attempt to increase material opulences unnecessarily.
Because all of that is a manifestation of which Purushartha? Kama. That's why. That's traditional sannyas. So, even gathering too many disciples is considered as a manifestation of what? Kama. So, this is what it is. Okay. You can study them as it is given in the Brahma Samhita, but in the material world it originated with Vatsyayan Muni. For the first time, Vatsyayan Muni wrote it down in his literature.
Even Prabhuji, regarding to that sannyasi said, even what we studied from the Ujjwal Rupa Swami scripture, it says that the souls which are categorized under Tunguvitya Sakhi, she has that one concept, that is Vairagya. Sometimes we see even brahmacharis, they are having very good relations with Mataji. But that doesn't mean that, it is like it comes under different Sakhi, like Chitra Sakhi is mentioned. So there are some things, which finer things, which Ujjwal Nilmani mentions, that if it is seen in from that angle, then that person can become a good sannyasi.
Okay, maybe, yeah. So I have not seen the research, but I'm sure it's very interesting. Yeah. So yeah. So I'm sure it is interesting. I'll have to see it, but irrespective of which ashram one is in, one should be able to attain the goal of life. If one has a proper understanding. Yes, Mataji.
I have a short question. In the beginning, you were speaking about the Venu, about how Krishna called, and the every individual cow thought he's calling my name, and so I guess the gopis also thought that he's calling my name. So the manjaris, are they hearing their names or are they hearing Shri Radha's name?
Well, in regards to the gopis, it's said they didn't hear it as he's calling their name. It attracted their hearts. That's what the verse said related to. I'll show that verse again. Here it is. Magical spells, expert in forcibly stealing away the hearts. So they all felt that their heart is they are being called by him. So that's what they felt. So that is the general feeling which the gopis also had and the manjaris also had. That's yes.
Thank you so much for the wonderful talk.
Thank you.
Question is, you said devotees are neither too attached nor too detached. That's bhakti. So how does calm play a role in their lives then? When a devotee likes to cook or
wonderful question. How does calm play a role in devotional life? And if this question is answered, a big knot in the heart will be undone. And the question should be answered from an authoritative source. Because I can give my speculation, but that won't satisfy your question. So let's have an authoritative source of answering that particular question. That particular question is answered in the literature of the previous acharyas, and I will show you this is Sri Narottam Das Thakur's Prem Bhakti Chandrika, and I think it's Prem Bhakti Chandrika or Prarthana maybe. It is in Prarthana. Let me, yeah. Yeah. Prem Bhakti Chandrika. Yeah, it is Prem Bhakti Chandrika. Yes, this is Prem Bhakti. Devotees, please sing after me. Kama Krishna Karmarpane. So this is the only section which is relevant to the query. Kam Krishna Karma Arpane. Kam is basically what? Lust? Creative desire. Alright. So Kam, creative desire. Sri Narottam Das Thakur says, Krishna Karma Arpane. Offer it all in activities of Sri Krishna. Cook. Make your Kam successful. Live the fullest potential of your Kam Purushartha. Because for long, those who have denied Kam Purushartha, they are struggling and they are saying what to do with our creative tendencies. And Sri Narottam Das Thakur directly says, see, in the English translation it says lust. It says lust, use it in deeds of Krishna. Now, many years I thought, how can I use lust in activities related to Krishna? Because lust is a very specific meaning of Kam. But the meaning of Kam which Sri Narottam Das Thakur is saying is the one which Vatsyayan Muni has given. Creative tendencies are known as Kam. And Krishna Karma Arpane. And Sri Narottam Das Thakur says, Arpan. Offer all of those tendencies in Krishna Karma. Don't you have 64 arts in Krishna Karma? Yes. Of course you have. So offer them to Sri Bhagavan. And that's how you make your Kam Purusharth successful. So devotees will live the full potential of their third goal of human life. Which is the third goal of human life? Kama. But it will become successful not because it is used for self-enjoyment, but because it is used for giving pleasure to whom? Sri Krishna. That's it. I hope that answers your query. That's straight Sri Narottam Das Thakur. Right? Praman. Hence proved, as we say, hence proved. Use your Kam in all the creative tendencies of the world and offer it to Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Right?
Just a clarification, when Prabhupada says dovetailing the propensities in Krishna's service.
Same.
Yeah.
Propensities in the world are manifestation of which goal of life?
Okay.
Please tell me.
Your desires.
Yeah. So desires is which goal of life? Kam.
So it's the same thing.
Of course.
Just said in different language.
One meaning of Kam is desire. I hope you are able to understand. One meaning of Kam is also what? Desire. Kam Krishna Karmarpane. Make your Kam successful. Because Sri Rupa Goswami will never say you become Kam Shunya.
Yes. You can't become desireless.
If you become complete zero in desires, then what will you offer to Bhagavan?
No relationship.
What will you offer to Bhagavan? You go ask an Ashtang Yogi, can he make a floor decoration for Bhagavan? He will say, I don't believe. What floor decoration? It's all Maya. I hope you are able to understand. You ask a Gaudiya Vaishnava, will you make a floor decoration for Sri Krishna on Deepavali? Oh yeah, why not? That's the difference between a Gaudiya Vaishnava and an Ashtang Yogi. So I hope that clarifies.
Stopping desires against engaging desires.
Yeah. Yes.
So then this would include relationships also, like even if one is not involved with man, woman, I still want friendships with nice ladies.
Yeah.
So that's, I want to enjoy my friends. That would
Sure.
also be, so I want to make, for Krishna would be relationships with the devotees of the Lord.
So every individual has some relationships in the material world. Somebody may have many good friends, and in the association of friends, they may have a lot of fun, isn't it? What do we do? Is it wrong or sinful? No. All right. So there is a verse, specific verse in the Shastra, which, because it's a very sensitive topic, I cannot speak anything without giving a praman, isn't it? Huh? Anything I speak out of my mind can be incorrect, but if I give a praman, it is very nice. Sri Jiva Goswami quotes, this is what it is. या प्रीतिर अविवेकानां विषयेष्वनुपायिनी त्वाम अनुस्मरतः सामे हृदयान्नापसर्पतु. Unintelligent people have unflinching affection for the objects of sense gratification, such as friends, etc. Similarly, may I always remember you, so that the same attachment applied to you never leaves my heart. Alright, just a minute. So, you got together with friends, there was a lot of fun. At the end of it, at the end of every day, there should be a desire. Bhagwan, let this same experience be replicated with you.
And even, isn't it Guru wants us to ultimately serve him like a dearmost friend?
Of course, in the spiritual world, definitely. But any relationships that we have, and Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur also, विषय जे प्रीति एबे आछय आमार सई मत प्रीतिक होक चरणे तोमार. विषय जे प्रीति एबे आछय आमार सई मत प्रीति होक चरणे तुमार. Mataji, can you read the translation?
As much attachment as I now have for worldly affairs, I pray that a similar degree of attachment may develop for your holy feet.
That's it. It's a very simple prayer. It is not rocket science.
But it's a different aspect of what I was asking.
Yeah.
Because if therefore I give all my friendship attachment to Krishna, what about making friends with the devotees of the Lord who remind me of Krishna, remind me of Harikatha?
All right. By your natural instinct, if you feel that you should have friendship with the devotees, you go make friends with the devotees.
Yeah. But ultimately it's for Krishna.
That attachment, you pray for it to be transferred to Bhagwan. To do nothing inorganically, to do nothing artificially.
Acha.
That is how bhakti yoga is susukham kartum. It is done with great happiness, and sometimes we make it ku dukkham kartum ave. We execute bhakti yoga with tremendous distress. Bhakti yoga is susukham kartum ave. So you ask me any question, there is a verse for all of these things. I'm just for all of these things there is a verse, you know. And the acharyas have explained previously. So to follow the previous acharyas, you are on the royal highway of progress, isn't it? There is nothing wrong in quoting the pramanas. These are the pramanas. All right. Yes, you had.
I just remembered also that Draupadi was praying actually, oh please take out my attachment to my 5 sons.
Right.
And it's actually a really strong prayer, because actually her sons are
Sure.
just great devotees, but still she felt, no, I have to get rid of this attachment.
Yeah. But that's their natural that's their natural inclination. Somebody's natural inclination may be, I love my sons and I don't want to get rid of that attachment. Bhagwan, let me have that same attachment towards you. Isn't it? And you decide when to take that away. And when you take it away naturally, organically, without distress. I hope you are able to understand. Because often devotees are praying, Bhagwan, take away attachments and give me a lot of distress, so that I don't have to look at the material world again. So that in the spiritual world, I am always fearful of looking back at the material world. That's not how things are done. The thing is, what is our natural tendency in bhakti? swabhav. And there's a verse for that. To speak nothing without quoting a verse. I'm sorry, it's getting late, Prabhu?
No.
Okay.
No.
11th canto. Kayena vacha manasendriyairva buddhyatmana va anusrita swabhavat. And Mataji, you kindly read.
In accordance with the particular nature one has acquired in conditioned life.
Once again, in accordance with the particular nature that one. Yeah. Once again.
In accordance with the particular nature one has acquired in conditioned life.
Yes. So if your natural tendency is that I want to give up attachment to family and sons, and if that is what your heart tells you from within, you can pray to Bhagavan, no problem. Bhagavan may fulfill. And if your natural tendency is not that, then pray for transfer of attachment. I hope you are able to understand. In both cases, you have your prayer. There is a prayer where somebody prays for destruction of attachment. That prayer is by Kunti Maharani. Sneha Pasham Imam Chindi Dridam Pandushu Vrishnishu. Please therefore sever my tie of affection for my kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. This is a prayer for severing. But is she saying out of peer pressure or out of somebody else's force, or is that her natural desire? Is that her natural desire? And sometimes we are saying because some other people have said, so we are also supposed to say, and therefore by some imaginary moral rule we start saying the same thing, although we are not feeling it. It's artificial. And then it doesn't happen. Or if it happens with great distress. And then Bhakti Yoga becomes kudukham, a path executed with great difficulty. And that's not how it. Prabhupada often he said, if somebody is a devotee and he is not happy, he is a rascal. There's a direct statement like that. I don't know how many have seen that statement. Devotee means happy. That's what Prabhupada said. Let me try to find. Yeah. Here is a conversation. Often the devotee thinks he is more unhappy than the karmis. Yeah. Because he knows he is unhappy. Prabhupada. That means he is not a devotee. He is not a devotee? This is actually, there should be a question mark here. He is not a devotee? Prabhupada. Yes, he is not a devotee. Devotee means the first sign will be happy. Brahma bhuta prasannatma. Na shochati na kankshati. If he is not prasannatma, he is a rascal. So you can use the art of abusing others in the service of Bhagavan. I hope you are able to understand. You can call somebody a rascal, because actually no previous acharyas, if you see previous acharyas, they don't use strong words, isn't it? But here is the art of using strong words in the service of Bhagavan. So this is what it is. If he is not prasannatma, he is a rascal. He has not entered even devotional life. It means they don't understand how simple devotional life is. They have unnecessarily made a simple thing very complex. And that's the test. Isn't it? Yes, sir. So I hope that answers the query. If you have a natural inclination, if your heart is screaming out, let my attachments be severed, wow, you can go ahead and pray like that, no problem. But if you don't have that natural inclination, if it is not an organic desire within your heart, then why live somebody else's life? Live your own life in bhakti. Many people want to live somebody else's life because they want to quickly go back home, back to Godhead. I am pushing it further ahead. All right. Let's dig deeper. Why are we living somebody else's life? Because we want to go back home, back to Godhead. Why? So that our miseries end. And so that I can have my eternal pass to Disneyland. Isn't it? That's what it is. So basically, it's nothing but a desire for moksha. It's nothing but a desire for moksha. So, there is no meaning to going back to Godhead if there is no prema. There is no meaning. Yeah. There is no meaning to going there if there is no prema. Might as well stay here and develop prema, even if it takes a few lifetimes. And then there is meaning to going back to Godhead. So let going back to Godhead be a side effect of prema. Let prema not be a side effect of going back to Godhead. Isn't it? Let's not put the cart before the horse. And our main aim is prema. Our main aim is if I am able to have that relationship and reciprocation with Bhagavan. And if that is not there, then going back to Godhead and all these things are good, but they are just manifestation of another desire, which is moksha. And moksha is rejected in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. To speak nothing without saying a praman. Therefore, please repeat. Prashabdena mokshabhisandhir api nirastah iti. Please read.
The prefix pra in the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam indicates that the desire for liberation is completely rejected.
So the Bhagavad Gita ends with liberation. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishami. I liberate you. Ma shucha. The Srimad Bhagavatam begins with rejecting that desire. Alright, dear devotees, will you speak after me? Let's take a vow today. Okay? There is Bhagavan here. Alright? Please repeat after me. Dear Sri Krishna, I declare that I no longer want to go back to Godhead without first attaining your prema. You will suffer in the world. Yes, I will suffer in the world. Every suffering teaches so many things. Suffering teaches what happiness doesn't teach. Suffering is my great friend. Dear devotees, let's not be afraid of suffering and try to run away from the world. Suffering teaches many things. Dukkha is our constant friend in this world. Yeah. So therefore, even if you have to stay for a few lifetimes, that is up to Bhagavan. That's up to Bhagavan. We don't have that desire. And that is how the Srimad Bhagavatam begins. So when the Srimad Bhagavatam begins, you have to unlearn many things that you have been taught in the Bhagavad Gita. Isn't it? And the most important thing being moksha. Because Bhagavad Gita in the end promises moksha. There is nothing after that. And in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, you unlearn that. And you are given a higher ideal. That is, reject moksha and become truly selfless. And there is a quote by Srila Prabhupada about it. I can try to find it, but it will take some time. Prabhupada says, the devotee is not practicing bhakti because he wants to go to Vaikuntha. That's Krishna's headache. That's the devotee's headache is that how I'm loving Bhagavan. That's the devotee's headache. And now you are relieved. Now no more anxiety for going back to Godhead. Let that anxiety be taken by whom? Krishna. Let that anxiety be taken by him. Our anxiety is Kama Krishna Karma Arpane. I hope you are able to offer all your creative tendencies in whose seva? Sri Krishna. That's all. And live happily. Chant and be happy. That's it. That was the simple meaning. I don't know how I became chant and be miserable. That's not what I became. All right. So you tell me, Prabhu, when to stop. I am happy because I am enthused by question and answers, but we should also see the audiences.
One day, Prabhupada arrives in America, and there was a reporter in the airport.
said, Swamiji, what is your mission? What have you come for here? And Prabhupada looked at him and he said, my mission is I want that the whole world should be happy in Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
By be unhappy in Krishna
Yeah.
consciousness. It's not possible.
Yeah. One of the 64 limbs of bhakti is to remain happy. Yeah, should I show?
Yes.
Yeah, why not, to speak nothing without giving a praman. Here is Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, Purva Vibhag, the eastern section of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. See, so many devotees unnecessarily they suffer. Oh, I lost this, I lost that, my relationships are terrible, my husband left me, my wife left me, so many things. One of the 64 limbs of bhakti is do not remain unhappy. Alright, and how do you do that? Sri Rupa Goswami mentions in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Sri Rupa Goswami mentions this principle, Shokadhyavashavartita. Yes, this is limb number 16, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.2.115. Very important verse, Sri Rupa Goswami, please sing after me. Shokamarshadibir bhavair akrantam yasya manasam katham tatra mukundasya spurti sambhavana bhavet. Shoka is lamentation, amarsha is anger, adi etc. Anger, lamentation etc. Bhavair, if these emotions have akrantam, have taken over, yasya manasam, the mind of somebody. If these negative emotions have taken over somebody's mind, katham tatra, how is it possible for such a mind, mukundasya spurti sambhavana, to have even a small positive remembrance of Bhagwan Mukunda? Is it possible? No. It's a rhetorical question. Right? So a person whose mind has been overtaken by negative emotions such as lamentation, anger, etc., for them there is no possibility of remembering Mukunda. And a devotee, the most important principle of bhakti is smartavyaha satatam vishnur vismartavyona jatuchit. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. And all other rules are subordinate to this. So any unhappiness which goes against one's remembrance of Bhagwan is also to be given up as soon as possible. As soon, organically, as soon as possible. Sri Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami lost their brother Anupam when they were visiting Prayagraj, and when they did not exhibit much sorrow when they met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They said Ganga Vaschila, he attained the Ganga. That's what they said. What happened to Anupam? He attained the Ganga. It's not that Sri Rupa goes, oh my goodness, why do you are Bhagavan on planet Earth in front of me? How in your presence my brother died? I am in depression, please tell me how to come out of it. That's not Rupa Goswami. So even the most severest of tragedies, the devotees know how to handle. Our tragedies, we are not able to remember Krishna. That is our true tragedy. That is, if we can take care of that, other things are, more or less taken care of. Ashram, Varna, these are secondary things. Alright, so I hope that made sense. Okay, I think everybody's questions are answered. Tomorrow 11 a.m. We start again. We'll dive further into Sri Padyāvalī. We'll try to look into more verses, and we'll try to see, also have an understanding of how the previous acharyas expect us to approach Madhurya Ras, and are there any precautions that previous acharyas tell us about Madhurya Ras. What precautions should be taken care of? One precaution, if it is taken care of, it takes care of all the other precautions. So what is that central precaution which, if taken care of, will take care of all the other precautions? And then gradually we can start entering into some relishment of that. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय।
हरि प्रसाद प्रभु जी की जय हो, श्री पद्यावली की जय हो, श्रील रूप गोस्वामी पाद की जय हो, श्रील गुरुदेव की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताय गौ प्रेमानंदे. Tomorrow, devotees, if you just don't
केबल
use
wind up
your
कर लेना.
creativity to come here at 11 o'clock. And don't worry about cooking for lunch. Yeah. We will have Prasadam tomorrow after 3 hours, 4 hours. Bring a bottle of water or anything. Or just forget everything and submerge yourself in the happiness of Krishna consciousness.
Radhe Radhe.
Sure. Normally.
No. Say, Rupa was very, it's a silly question. He gave all the treasure bucket to my sister.
We don't. We are going to the whole world. Because he composed 130
He is from Godia. Supposed to be,
We'll see
Godia
something.
mostly
Yeah,
out
we'll lead
that
somebody.
time was Bengalis.
We both.
So, what is expectation? Yes, compose everything.
Well, there are many purposes of doing that. Traditionally, the previous poets say Gaudiya Sanskritavya. The Gaudiyas are the first ones to write and